Okay, so here you go. Exactly an hour and 30 minutes from now, India will be training at the Headingley Cricket Ground. This will be their first training session here in Leeds. And Gargi and I are going to talk about what we are looking forward to from this Indian practice session. You're getting two.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting. You're getting today, you're getting tomorrow, and you're playing the first test match.
Yes.
The build-up has been massive. The team came yesterday. You've seen visuals on Rev Sports. The team is coming to the stadium in another hour from now. We will bring you all the practice updates, but what are you looking forward to?
I mean, before we talk about the practice, let's talk about the arrival yesterday because it is one of the most unusual that I've seen. First of all,
Train.
The fact that the Indian team was traveling in a train. When was the last time you seen this?
Here. I mean, several years back, but it is absolutely unusual for the team to come in a train.
Absolutely. And then the fact that there were a total of, I think, 5 fans who were there.
I don't think people knew.
Nobody knew, I think. That
Because
must
the
be the
train-
reason, of course. But then I was talking to some fans and they said that, they don't really show up here. I'm not sure how, accurate that was. But anyway, it was quite an unusual arrival because otherwise you see that people are going mad. People are standing outside the airport and chanting and cheering and screaming their lungs out. But this time around, it was pretty chill. No security, nothing. They just walked from the platform to the Queen's Hotel. They had this little passageway in the middle, and this is the chillest
And
arrival I've
I
ever
saw
seen.
a lot of media just taking visuals. And
Yeah, and they're just standing and taking. Nothing happened. Nothing unusual happened, except the fact that it was very quiet.
But good. I
Very
mean,
good.
for once, no disturbance, no
Yes.
madness. Let them focus on the game. But I ask this
yes.
question again. What are you looking forward to in this practice session?
There's so much I'm looking forward to. But since we have been talking about Kuldeep Yadav for the past couple of days, and he will be an important aspect throughout this entire tour. And when we really look at it, when we talk about today's practice session, one of the most important things is Kuldeep Yadav finding the right areas. I think that is the one of the most interesting parts that I'm looking forward to watching. Is he getting that sort of spin? Is he beating the batters? That is what I'm really excited to see. Apart from that, of course, you want to see how Jasprit Bumrah is looking. Is he bowling longer spells?
But your story was right.
My story was right, of course. May 8th was when we broke that story on Rev Sports about Jasprit Bumrah not leading the side and the fact that he was only going to play a maximum of 3 test matches. So that was back 8th of May. That was a long time ago.
And he confirmed it.
He confirmed it today.
And you guys have all seen that interview of Jasprit Bumrah where he
Yes.
says 3 test matches. So spot on story there. You know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the pattern or rather the chronology in which who bats.
Batting, oh yes, very
So
important.
will it be, so the thing that I want to see, will it be Shubman Gill at 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So obviously we now know, fairly sure that it will be Jaiswal and Rahul. But after that, who? Is it Karun Nair? Is it Sai Sudarshan? If both of them come together, we'll know, okay, there is a selection quandary there. If Shubman Gill and Karun Nair come to bat together in the 2 different nets,
Exactly, that's
then
what
we
I'm
know,
saying.
okay, Karun Nair is ahead. So the nets actually, if you look very closely at the nets,
All the answers are there.
it gives you a lot
Yes.
of understanding of the game. The other thing, you want to see catching. Is there a slip drill?
Yes.
Is there a new slip cordon? Has to be a new slip cordon. No Rohit Sharma, no Virat Kohli.
Rohit
had
Juglan
done the
has
story.
been, yes, has been doing the story where I think Shardul Thakur was the newest addition to the slip cordon.
He's a good catcher.
Yeah.
And for example, Shardul Thakur, if he's there doing slip catching, then you know Shardul Thakur is very much in the mix. So
Exactly.
these are the little nuances that one needs
You
to
have to
see
look after.
at the Indian practice. But massively important 2 sessions. They were talking about 8 mm, 9 mm, 10 mm of grass.
Oh, that's a lot of grass. That's a lot of grass there, and we talked to the pitch curator as well, and he said that it was going to be really challenging for the batters. And now that you look at the weather, you can look in the video as well. It's
Slightly gloomy.
slightly gloomy, slightly overcast, and it goes back and forth. Sometimes you have
And by the
a
way, it's
really good
7:35, 7:36 here. So it's about 12:06 in
Yeah.
India. So it's early morning still. India will be training at 9 a.m., which is when we will obviously come live again and give you more updates from Headingley. But to set it up more, for even like Shubman Gill, the point that Michael Clark made to us, I think is one of the most important statements, that for Gill to earn respect of that dressing room, he has to score.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that, and this is something that I have been talking about because when we were at the Sydney cricket ground in that last test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, Rohit Sharma dropping himself, a sight I think we have never seen.
Yeah, it was
and it was
strange.
very tense. There was so much tension that day on that practice session day. You could cut it with a knife, and that is something you never want to see. Now, when we were doing those reports, when we were doing those stories about what the selectors are looking for in the next captain, the criteria here was longevity. They wanted a captain who would last the entire WTC cycle. But a big aspect that we from the outside are looking for is the fact that Shubman Gill has been pretty silent with the bat in Sena countries. Now, you're talking about longevity. There is no doubt about Shubman Gill lasting the entire WTC cycle. He's young, he's fit, he's agile. But when it comes to the bat, what if he doesn't score again?
See, that is the point, that with Shubman Gill, or the choice of Shubman Gill,
Yeah.
I think it's a call based on potential rather than a
Absolutely.
call based on performance.
Performance, exactly.
It's a
yeah.
call based on potential. Everybody knows he's super talented.
Yeah.
He looks very pleasing to the eye. He's a great batter in that sense. And you've gone with a Shubman Gill. But the temperament issue, she and I, we were both there in Australia 6 months back.
Yes.
And that ball
That
to Nathan
shot.
Lyon, when he just gets out of the crease, gets himself stumped, the over before lunch, when he had actually batted himself
2 balls before that.
two balls or 3 balls before
Yeah.
lunch, and he had done the hard work. India needed a partnership. They got it there. Difficult batting conditions, he threw it away. And not the only time. He's looked good, he's given it away. And he himself acknowledged that momentary lapse of concentration. But captaincy should sort that bit out. The sort of Ganguly comment on Rishabh Pant. I want to see what approach he takes. Will he go for every ball? Because he's got a strong defense. Will he bat ugly or will he go for every ball? Because that will decide and define Rishabh Pant's approach in this series.
I think I don't expect to see any change of approach when it comes to Rishabh Pant. I honestly don't. And if he does that, it's not Rishabh Pant anymore. That's the thing. Now,
But
you might say that he can play a little more defensive. He can adapt to the conditions.
Correct. Play strokes, but
Play
don't go
strokes,
for
yes.
every ball.
Exactly. Now that is something, a mindset change that Rishabh Pant has to do himself, because he's the guy. He's a very instinctive batter, and it just comes out of nowhere. It's not like he's preempting those shots. It's just flow. It's just muscle memory. And Rishabh Pant will have to hammer that in his brain, that I've got to put a price on my wicket. I have to make sure that I don't get called out by Sunil Gavaskar once again.
And Saurav Ganguly, and I've said this story on Rev Sports multiple times. It was in Manchester. India had lost that match against New Zealand. Saurav and I, in fact, you guys will go to that restaurant in Manchester, Zia, Asian Grill. Saurav and I were having dinner. And he said to me in 2019, you are criticizing this guy. He will be your best red ball batter. Indian batter. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, yes. I said, in test match cricket. He said, yes, he's got that. I didn't believe him. He's actually one of India's better batters in test match cricket.
Absolutely.
When I asked Ganguly this question, and we will, at the end of the show, leave you with what Michael Clarke and Saurav Ganguly said about Rishabh Pant to us in that interview, and also Ravi Ashwin. So Ashwin, Ganguly and Clarke, all of them spoke to us at length about Rishabh Pant. We will play those bites at the end of our conversation. Saurav said to me that he did not like this all hell for loose, all let's go for broke approach in Australia. That was fascinating. And I hope Rishabh sorts that bit out. I hope Rishabh sort of checks that bit out. And if he does that, it's great.
I think that will be one of the biggest that will make a difference when it comes to Rishabh Pant's batting. We already know he has the potential. We already know, we've seen him turn games around on its head. And that is something that only Rishabh Pant can do. I mean, he will play the most audacious shots and turn the game on its head. You would never expect for any other batter to do this, but Rishabh Pant is the one that has the potential to do that. Now, if you add to that a solid defense, which Pant already has, and he adapts to those conditions, he adapts to English conditions and plays a long innings, gets a century or 2, maybe 3 throughout the tour, I think that could be the difference maker.
If he gets a couple of hundreds, I mean, in England, you play 5 tests, you get
cements
200s.
him.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But to sort of close,
And also the fact that he's the vice captain, so he has to make sure that he's taking the responsibility that I have to go and win every match.
Correct. And also he'll be behind the wickets. He will see the field. He's got to help Shubman Gill at every step, come up with ideas.
Absolutely.
Especially when England is in control, you've got to be proactive every ball. As we said, these 2 practice sessions are of paramount importance.
Defining.
India will be here in exactly an hour and 15 minutes from now. We will bring you all the live updates from the practice, both of us, along with our entire team of reporters. And you guys have now seen Hindi will be Shubhayan, Rohit, and Amit Shah. The two of us will also join in. Bangla, principally Trisha, Rohan, and of course Debashish. I will join in. English, the two of us, plus Shubhayan and Trisha and the rest of the team. So all of us will be there at the Headingley Cricket Ground, bringing you all the updates from India's practice. What we will do, the way I've thought about it is I'll divide our reporters focusing on one particular player. So she will focus on Gill, somebody else on Pant, someone else on Kuldeep Yadav. So we will be able to give you all the details because it's not one person covering entire practice. Because we have so many people out here, we will bring you entire lowdown on the Indian practice session. So that's all Gargi and I have for you for the moment. Here's Saurav Ganguly, Michael Clark, and Ravichandran Ashwin talking about Rishabh Pant and the importance in this series. Follow Rev Sports, subscribe to the platform, Hindi, Bangla, and of course English, and follow our broadcasts from Leeds. Thanks for watching. Thoughts on Shubman and Rishabh, captain and vice captain?
See, look, I'll start with Rishabh first. I think Rishabh is I think you have all these bonds, right, where they say AAA rated bonds, right? So I think Rishabh is a stand hallmark, high quality test batsman. I think he can walk into that Indian team as a pedigree test batsman, even if he doesn't have to hold on to the gloves. Fantastic test batter. Sometimes you can question the choice of shot selection, and sometimes, but that's the way he plays, okay? I mean, it comes with it. He's able to give you match-winning knocks. I'm sure he'll rectify that and become even more consistent. It's only a matter of time before he finds out that formula, but I think he's a high-quality test batsman. He should be walking in at number 5. Number 6 is a bit too low for him, in my view. Number 5, he's got a great defense. He's going to take down spin once again. I haven't seen a lot of bowlers nick him off or get him out LBW. Doesn't get out a lot. He has a lot of time on hands. Rishabh, the batter, is box office viewing, and I will definitely be glued onto the TV sets if he's batting. Shubman Gill, a lot of responsibility. I'm sure he's already overwhelmed by the kind of attention he's got being the test captain. It's not an easy job, high pressure job. But if I was Shubman going into that series, I would be wanting to get off to a really, really good start as a batter. Because England can be a very, very tough place to bat if it starts going around a lot. Shubman will, as a batter, will have a few question marks in his own head. Make no mistakes, runs bring you confidence, and confidence will rub onto captaincy. So I think if he makes some early mark in the series, I think India will have a great series. But if your captain doesn't get off to a great start, there will be a few questions raised. And I really wish that boy very, very well, because I think he's a special player. However said and done, I think Rishabh goes into the series with a lot more certainty and a lot more surety than Shubman does. I think Shubman getting off to a good start is very, very important for the Indian team.
You have seen, and I remember that conversation with you, India had lost in Manchester. We were having an Indian lead. You told me Rishabh Pant will be the best test match batter in the next finals. I didn't believe it. Today, when I look at Rishabh Pant, he's actually one of India's best batters. Ops as vice captain.
No, he's a very good player, but he has to continue keep playing the way he played few years ago. I saw him in Australia and in life for itself. Too many shots, kept swinging, ball dipped around the field, venues. Too many shots, yes, so I know he's a stroke maker, he's not a defensive player, he never will beat, that's his strength. But I want him more fight. So we see I'm swing here. He's got the ability, there's no doubt about it. The application is like defense. He has to defend. That's what I'm saying. He's got a very good defense. He's got to defend when it's seeming and taking.
Rishabh Pant, real solid test match player. That is his favored format. He got 100 in the last game, which should give a little bit of confidence. But more importantly, in red ball cricket, that's the format Rishabh Pant prefers.
Yeah, look, I was so happy for Rishabh Pant to see him make 100 in that last game. I just think he's one of those players everyone wants to see do well. It's a couple of years. There's been some tough times as well, coming back from surgery, and a lot of talk. Will he play cricket again? He's worked so hard. He deserves good result. So I saw him after the game when he made that 100 for LSG, and I was over the moon for him. He's the star. There's no doubt about it. Again, all 3 formats. He's around the group all the time. His keeping gets better every single day. I think he kept really well throughout the IPL. I like him being vice captain. I think he'll be very important for Shubman Gill. I think they've got to work together. But yeah, he's been phenomenal in Test cricket already. Throughout his career, he'll continue to get better. Rishabh Pant. I think he's very confident with his own game at the moment. I think the vice captaincy will help that self belief as well. And like I say, I think you got 2 guys now, captain and vice captain. Then, if all goes to plan and they play the cricket that they want to play, they could be there for a long time.